Alright, welcome Algebra 2. In this video, we are going to show you how to solve for the roots in vertex form, right? So, what this means is, let's look at this problem, and I actually started this problem off. I wanted to use something that has some decimals in it, because I didn't want to always have problems that always use whole numbers, right? So let's look at something that looks maybe a little complicated, and we want to solve for the roots, right? So, nice thing is, because it's in vertex form, it tells us the location of the graph, right? Since this is x minus 2.5, well, that just means to go over 2.5. And then it tells us to go down. It goes down, right? 0.25, so negative 0.25. Okay? That means that my function is going to look something like that here, right? Cool. Right? And we want to find the roots, right? We're trying to find when does it intersect our x-axis there, right? We want to find that intersection right there, right? So, just like before, we always ask ourselves, what is the y value at this location, at these roots? Well, the y value is just 0. So, we set our y value equal to 0, and we're going to get x minus 2.5 squared minus 0.25. All right? Now that we have that there, we can go ahead and solve this problem, right? So what can we do to solve this? Well, we just undo order of operations, right? We're going to move this over here. So, well, what do we do to move that over? We're just going to add. It's the opposite, right? 0.25. And so we're going to do plus 0.25. All right. And now we cancel this out right here, and we're going to get 0.25 is equal to x minus 2.5. Square. Well, what do we do to get rid of this square right here? That's right, we got to take the square root. We take the square root of both sides, and when we take the square root, we have to be careful because we are going to get a plus or minus, right? This is one of my favorite mistakes that I see a lot of us making, and so it's always good to just go over that and make sure we can not have that occur. All right, so now we go over here. Let's go ahead and do the square root. Let's write this down. Let's do the square root of 0.25. It's 0.5. Awesome. So we're going to get, if we go ahead and do this here, right, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to get plus or minus 0.5. I want to use a different color because I'm not feeling that color. So let's go to something like purple. All right. So we're going to get plus or minus 0.5, right? Because that's what we just solved it, is equal to x minus 2.5. Okay, so now when we go to solve this equation here, right, because we have this plus or minus, I'm going to go ahead now and just break it up into two equations, okay? We're going to get 0.5 is equal to x minus 2.5, and then that's just the positive one, right? And now we're going to need to write it with the negative one. So we're going to get negative 0.5 is equal to x minus 2.5. All right. Last but not least, we go to solve this problem. We're just going to solve for x. So we're going to get plus 2.5 plus 2.5. And we're going to do the same thing here. Plus 2.5 plus 2.5. Okay. And now we just solve for this problem. And we're going to, these are going to cancel. So we're going to get x is equal to, well, if we compute this, this is just going to be 2. And now we're going to do this over here. Well, these are going to cancel, and we're going to get, well, in this case, it's going to be 3. So pretty nice. It actually worked out very nicely for us to get 2 and 3 when originally it looked like it was going to be a crappy problem, right? Now, that means up here that these locations right here is 2, and right here, these intercepts is 3. This is our roots, okay? And now if we want to, now that we have these roots, we can, if we want, write it in vertex form, right? Well, this is positive, so it's going to be x minus 3, and this is going to be x minus 2, since the 2 is positive as well. So, pretty cool problem. There you go. That's how we can go about solving a problem like this, all right? You can stick around if you want. I'm feeling pretty happy, and I'm feeling like I want to do maybe one more problem, right? So, this problem may or may not work out, but we shall see. Let's go ahead and try something like y is equal to, let's do x plus 2 squared, all divided by 3. Yeah, I think this will be a cool problem. And then we're going to do minus, let's do minus 2. Okay, so we want to solve for the roots of this problem, right? Well, right? And if we want to solve for the roots, well, what are your y value? I hope by now you figured it out. That's just going to be 0. So let's go ahead and set our y value equal to 0. And we're going to get 0 equals x plus 2 squared, all divided by 3 minus 2. All right, and the first step we want to do to solve this problem is we're going to add 2 to both sides, right? We always undo any addition or subtraction. Cancel, cancel. We're going to get 2 is equal to x plus 2 squared, all divided by 3. Now you might ask yourself, what can I do to get rid of the division by 3? Well, what's the opposite of division? That's multiply. Just multiply to both sides by 3. So we multiply both sides by 3. The 3's cancel out, and we're going to get 6 is equal to x plus 2 squared. Okay. Now that we've done that, we can go ahead and get rid of the square, which means we're going to take the square root. Don't forget, when we take the square root, we always have to do the plus or minus. So boom, cancel that out. All right, now I'll just go ahead over here and let's go ahead and do that. The square root of 6. It'll probably be a decimal answer. 2.449. So I'll just do 2.45 just to be easy. So we're going to get plus or minus 2.45 is equal to x plus 2. Now, just like before, all we have to do is just break these up into 2 equations, right? We break these up into 2 equations. We're going to get the positive 2.45, this is from this section over here, is equal to x plus 2. And now we're going to get the negative 2.45 is equal to the x plus 2. Okay. What do we do to solve for x? We subtract 2 to both sides. We subtract 2 to both sides, and we get x is equal to, all right, well, this is going to give me 2.45 minus 2 is just going to be 0.45, and negative 2.45 minus 2.45 is going to give me negative 4.45. Okay, there we go. Now I solved for my roots, right? I solved for my roots. Again, if you wanted to, you could write it in factored form, right, as y is equal to x. Well, this is positive, so we're going to get x minus 0.45. And then we're going to get x, well, since this is negative here, we're going to get the plus 4.45. All right. Now, if we go up into our graph, that means that, all right, we're going to get 0.45, which is right here. Let's just call this 0.45. And over here we have negative 4.45, so it'll probably be somewhere over here as negative 4.45. All right, and that just means that our function is going to look something like that. All right, or it should look, right, this is our vertex point that we talked about should be over here. So it will more accurately look something like this here, right, where our vertex is right there and our roots that we just solved for are located right here at these locations. Cool. Hopefully that helps you to solve this problem. I went through another example. It was fun. I hope you enjoyed.